Prologue. But if you don't want to watch a boring prologue, skip to timestamp 240. It's another day. What day is it? Doesn't matter. It's the pandemic. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Eric, by the way. I'm the same as you, stuck in limbo with this situation. And I hope you're doing well these days. I'm doing fine myself. All we can do now is to wait a little bit more, be happy for the present, and just being patient. The pandemic sure did affect all of us. As for me, it affected my big trip. In 2018, I quit my nursing job and finally decided to travel solo all throughout Latin Americas and Europe. Most of it by land and on a budget. It took me years to get to that point of finally being able to travel freely. Until COVID happened. I can still remember the journey like it was just yesterday. To be back on the road, the smells, the sights, the people and culture. Complete freedom. It would be a shame to not share with you guys the adventures that transpired on that year before the pandemic. So yes, I'm starting this vlog to give you advice. I'll tell you about the route I took, my thoughts on the road, and give you inspiration. Until we can be back on the road again. So, let's rewind back a year before the pandemic, when I was traveling. Every big trip starts somewhere. For me, I started in Oakland. If you don't know Oakland, it's somewhere in the east of San Francisco. Got my salad, my coffee. The first day was pretty much uneventful. It was just day one, so it was to be expected. I took my time getting settled and exploring the area. In the meantime, I was busy looking for treasures. Yes, treasures. It's called Geocaching. It's a game around the world. You'll notice I'll be doing a lot of this in my trip. I remember going a couple of times to this coffee shop called Revolution Cafe. They had the best coffee.
It's home of the Chiefs, home of the Royals. So if you're familiar with football and baseball.
Not with American
Okay.
football.
Got you.
But I do like I watch the Super Bowl
Okay.
every year because of the Oakland.
But if you ever stop by Kansas City, Missouri, I definitely recommend eating barbecue. It's gonna be
Barbecue.
so great.
Hey.
Outside of that,
Hello. Hi.
I don't know, I put my hat on, so it doesn't look so great today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no.
You got YouTube or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
My friend told me that this cafe used to be a meeting place for the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther was a black power political organization that started in Oakland in the 60s. They were anti-establishment that arose from police brutality in the city. Watch Judas and the Black Messiah and Panther for reference. Sadly, as of now, the cafe has been closed due to gentrification and less support from the government. Such a shame for such a historic landmark, especially for Black history.
Money is the motivation.
After about 3 days, I decided to move to San Francisco to get closer to the sites. From Oakland, I took the train, and 40 minutes I was in Fort Mason. I stayed in a hostel there. It's pretty cheap for San Francisco standards. It's about $20 a night.
Fuck is up, dab him up, where you wanna go? I be good as fuck, I be on the road, I be taking trips, I be breaking down good weed, I be making spliffs, you be top flow, bitch I'm on the roof, what it do? Looking down on you, looking up to me, holla hallelujah, I'm still a fucking adolescent, who your mama warned about, look I ain't never learned a lesson, I be pretty girl from
Here I am in a garden in Fort Mason, and I found another geocache. It's supposed to be a secret, so you have to discreetly retrieve the treasure, sign it, and put it back without people seeing you. From the hostel, you can see Alcatraz, the famous prison.
everything alright, sir.
If you go towards the coast to the east, you can find a trail that leads you to the Fisherman's Wharf, a very famous spot. It's definitely one of the more touristy spots in San Francisco. There's a lot of food, restaurants, activities happening around, and shopping. And yes, you can check out the seals by the pier. Transportation is really good in San Francisco. The bus and trams are abundant, and you can go anywhere, especially to the famous sites. In the downtown area, check out the Mission and the gay district, the Castro.
Mama said she loved me more if I had a Mercedes. Clean it up a little more, drive around and look pretty. I just got enough for the tank, got my grandma's car.
In the Mission, there's a lot of Latin restaurants and boutiques that you can check out. It was my first introduction to Latin America and Latin culture. But if you ask me which one is my favorite part in downtown, it was Dolores Park. Grab a beer, have a picnic, catch up with some friends, especially on the weekends. One time I went a long way to Chinatown to get to City Lights bookstore. It's where Jack Kerouac, the author of On the Road, used to hang out back in the days post-war. Jack Kerouac was part of this literary movement of authors back in the 50s called the Beat Generation. They were a group of authors, writers, vagabonds, and hippies that rejected the standard narrative values and made spiritual quests and rejected economic materialism. If you ask me, they started cool. I heard jazz sounds down the street, so I was like, cool. So I went down and followed where the sound was coming from. Next to the bookstore is Vesuvio Cafe. Kerouac and the gang used to come here to drink and do wild parties. If you read the books, he'd mention about the raw jazz and blues, wild hedonistic ways, sex, drugs, and prostitutes of yesteryears. But of course, it's not the case now. You're basically in Chinatown, so why not get some Chinese food? If you're in the mood for nature, go to Land's End, and there are hikes and trails and nice views like these. It's in the west of the city. Check out Sutro Spats as well. If you go a little bit further, you can find coves and beaches and secret spots with unobstructed views of the Golden Gate Bridge. Of course, one cannot go to San Francisco without visiting the Golden Gate Bridge. From Fort Mason, I took the bus towards the bridge. But instead of going to the actual bridge, I decided to just go down the beach and check out the views there.
So let's steal your dad's car and drive down to the lake. I'll hold your hair in my hands, the same thing we did yesterday. So believe me when I say that watching you is like watching a sunset on replay.
By sunset, I decided to just pick a spot with a beautiful view of the bridge and the ocean. I just can't believe it. I am here now, a lifelong dream, and I'm truly relishing the moment. It was then I realized that it is just the start of many sunsets, of many trails and little adventures I will encounter. I was Jack Kerouac on an adventure. And everything will be A-OK. Don't forget to please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram at The Local Drift. Another way to support me is to buy me a coffee. More info on the link on the description box below. On the next episodes, join me as I travel the Americas by land.